Hello, my fellow history enthusiasts and Europa Universalis IV gamers. Today we're going to be diving into an extraordinary scenario blending interesting history with strategy gaming. Now imagine the might and glory of the Roman Empire, not as a relic of the past, but as a thriving power in 1444. I say thriving because though they are a single province, there is a twist. Byzantium, the Eastern Roman Empire, still stands in 1444, as most of you may know, defying time and the tide, making it not just a tale of survival, but a testament to the enduring legacy of Roman civilization. In this modded EU4 scenario, thanks to General Poll for the mod, check it out in the description, we are not just resurrecting the Western Roman Empire, we are supercharging it as a one-province minor with a staggering 1,000 development. There's plenty of content like this to come on the channel, so if you enjoy this one and you want to see more, make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and ding the bell so you don't miss out. We're shooting for 50,000 subscribers on the channel, and I'd love to have you around. Likewise, YouTube isn't paying much of anything anymore, so if you're a Giga Chad and you want to support, click the join button below the video or join the Patreon and get early access to all the videos on the channel and special shiny roles and chats in the community Discord. Oh man, another Rome video. Oh wait. Other Rome, this Rome. This is the Rome we're doing today. This is going to be so juicy. They already have almost 80,000 troops, 57,000 infantry in 1444. I'm hopeful that they're going to be able to do some pretty good stuff with this. They are the number 2 great power, only behind the Ming, which is the Ming. So I'm sure you can probably figure out how that's going to go. And their ideas are pretty cracked. Get discipline to start with, unrest, reputation, stab cost, land force limit, and infantry combat ability, production efficiency 20%, which is very strong, tax efficiency as well as admin efficiency and or creation cost, years of separatism, and manpower as the finisher. Safe to say Roman ideas are some of the strongest in the game, and they get them day one. All of their base production is making this trade node just incredibly rich day one, double the richest node in the world. So yeah, that's going to be helping everybody around them, but for the most part, they're collecting 49% of the trade. So even with 100 ships and almost 80,000 troops, they're netting 31 ducats per month with their army and navy at full maintenance. Now, one thing to consider is that they don't get a mission tree, and I don't know if this is intended. I don't think they have one in vanilla, and this mod literally just changes the history to make them show up here. So I'm not really sure what that means. Their religion is Catholic, so they're going to also have some issues with the Pope, understandably. But who knows? We'll see how things go. The fact that they don't get any permanent claims from their missions might be an issue, but it also might not. So we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, these guys are so rich. They're just building up to their force limit, which is at 116, by the way. Over 100,000 troops. I assume that they're probably going to get some claims here, but they're only improving relations with people, so hard to say how they're going to go about that. They've allied Genoa and Florence, so not making any big diplo moves early on, but hopefully we'll see them attacking somebody sooner or later. And meanwhile, the Eastern Roman Empire doing Eastern Roman Empire things, or just like Roman in general, I suppose, but probably not going to change anything here. Turks are almost certainly going to smash them. Now we're talking, they've got some claims, one on the Pope and one on Siena, though they allied Naples, so they're definitely like limiting their possible expansion, but this is a good sign. This is a good sign. And yep, first war underway. Rome has attacked the Pope man, and doesn't look like the armies over here are going to be lasting too long at all. They do have their friends in here. They're probably going to occupy land for themselves, but you know, the peace deal may not be the most interesting thing. I was hoping they were going to attack Siena because Siena is allied to Aragon, and that would allow them to take some of the islands, but they're being cowards. Not too bad. They took 2 provinces for themselves and gave Urbino over here to their ally, which means that they officially have 3 provinces that they border that they can take, and the rest is their allies. So not the super smartest thing they could have done, but I'm sure that will change, assuming that they, you know, get some claims or whatever. Oh, I'm just kidding. They literally instantly declared the war like 2 months later on Siena. Aragon is in. The Roman navy is menacing, to say the least. So I don't think that Aragon is going to be a problem with them on the waves. All right, things are definitely changing up here. They ended up taking a couple of provinces in Sardinia. They took Siena. They're no longer allied to Genoa or Florence, or Naples for that matter. And instead, they now have Castile, Albania, Bosnia, and Bohemia. So they've got some room to expand here, And they very well may be at odds with the Ottomans, because the Ottomans usually like to take Albania pretty early on, and their claims are fairly extensive at this point. So hopefully we're going to see a little bit of blobbing out here. Though we do need to keep an eye up to the north here, because they may have some competition. Russia pushing into the Baltics very early on. Just kind of running train on them, actually. And then Sweden, the Lion of the North, is probably going to get their independence if I had to guess. And out this way, Timmy is doing pretty good. Looks like his subjects are mostly loyal. He integrated Fars, and he's integrated Baluchistan. He's all the way over into India. And if we can push down into Delhi, we may see a Mughals, which would be a very cool kind of late game boss for the Roman Empire to face. Funnily enough, Naples was full occupying the Pope last time I looked. And I looked again, and now Naples is getting occupied by the Pope. But in terms of Roman news, there's a bit going on down here. I do believe I've seen this one at least once before. Carthago de Est and all that. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? The Pope just straight up like annexed Naples, dude. That is, wow. That is a lot of land. Meanwhile, Sweden took some land from Norway down here, and they even took some land on the peninsula. And they're currently attacking Novgorod. So we very well may see a very strong Sweden as well. It would be really cool to see some like regional powers to face off against the Romans. I would love that. Ooh, so they decided to go espionage for their first idea group. Very cheeky. That 20% aggressive expansion impact is going to be, it's going to be pretty helpful if I had to guess, because they're conquering quite a bit of land over here in North Africa. But more importantly, they're conquering a lot of land up in here. The Etruscans have been subjugated and will be Romanized once again. And meanwhile over here, we've got some wars going on. Hungary getting attacked by both Austria and Venice in conquest wars. So we very well may not see the Austro-Hungarian Empire this time around. Well, that certainly was not expected. I'm very, very glad it happened. And it's actually even funnier than just that. Not only do they have a center of reformation over here in Pisa, but a second one down here in Napoli, because Naples went Protestant and then the Roman Empire went Protestant, probably because of a lot of their land getting converted. And then you're going to see over here, there's quite a bit of occupation lines, and that's because they're at war with the Ottomans, because they attacked Tlemcen, one province minor Tlemcen. So the Romans are definitely going buck wild, and I'm very much here for it. And speaking of buck wild, what is going on with this Timurids? This is the most absolutely unhinged Timmy I have ever seen. And I don't even think they got updated in King of Kings, but they're all the way in, halfway through Mesopotamia, and they are very quickly encroaching on Delhi. They have a Lassex worker up here, and as soon as they push down into Delhi, they'll be able to click the button and form the Mughals. And they're going to be incredibly powerful, probably going to compete. I don't think the Ottomans are going to do much, especially if they keep going to war with the Romans. Sadly, their allies over here got annexed, but this is going to be a good one. Meanwhile, Manchu has actually formed, and Ashikaga has pushed up into Manchuria, and a bunch of land has been, conquered by this Imagawa. Manchu has pushed down into Korea, which is sad, but the Ming is doing fine. They're just hanging in there. Oirat has crumbled, and we'll see how things turn out over here, because I think there's quite a bit more variation this patch, which I'm definitely a fan of. Meanwhile, the colonial game is ongoing with Portuguese over in Brazil, and then we've got them up in Bermuda, and then the Spanish over here in Dominica. So hopefully we'll see some interesting stuff, but it's a colonial game. I don't know what we can really expect at this point. Well, the Romans are definitely pushing up into Italy. The Risorgimento well underway. They've also pushed over into Illyricum, as well as down into the Balkans. And they've beat up on the Ottomans a few times, with Austria going in and picking at the bones as well, taking some land from them. The Romans also continue their push over here into Egypt, and I don't know how this happened, but the Eyalet of Arabia, as well as whatever this one is down here, is massive. Like bigger in terms of like land mass than the Ottomans almost. But clearly that's not going to be doing much, because they're getting squeezed between these guys, who I'm sure they're going to form the Mughals any moment now, and it's over. It is absolutely Jover for the Ottomans. Meanwhile, out east we have Pink Vietnam over here, which is absolutely chef's kiss beautiful. Ming has collapsed, No surprise there. Mongolia has actually taken over some land from Oirat, looking good, and Manchu is having a very good game. The Cape of Good Hope is Portuguese with a teeny tiny little bit of a Spanish over here, because Spain has united and Great Britain has been proclaimed. So the colonial game is definitely going to be starting to pick up over here. We have the Danes over in Greenland who have annexed the Norwegians. They're also over here in Canada, but I think we already know that they're probably not going to be there for long. But the Spanish have arrived over here in North America as well, finishing up their colonies over here. And we do have the Dutch over here in Venezuela, which is very cool. And the Inca have united. So quite a bit of actual interesting stuff going on in the New World. Sadly, I don't think the Romans will go colonial. I don't think they're coded to take those in their idea groups at all. But a man can dream, right? Well, the conquests just keep on rolling for the Roman Empire, taking back Constantinopolis and pushing over into Asia Minor over here in Anatolia, as well as uniting the majority of the land over here. Somehow in Egypt has formed, which is very cool. I don't know how it happened. But then, of course, you're going to see a big green blob over here. The Mughals are absolutely terrifying and have united the majority of the northern development over here in India. Just north of them, a very big Russia has formed as well, and so we've got definitely a lot of blobs on our hands. Manchu has been crushed. Sadly, Japan has been united. Very cool. And Pink Vietnam is dominating over here in southern China as well as Southeast Asia. Somehow, some way, Great Britain just continues to bonk the French. I feel like this doesn't normally happen, though they may be allied to the Roman Empire. Nope. I got nothing. I don't know how they're doing it. Just kidding. They're allied to Spain, who's allied to the Roman Empire. So that's how they do it. Meanwhile, across the pond, we actually do have a Vinland. I was thinking that Newfoundland would eat them up very quickly, but they have not. We also have Florida Man doing good over here with Spanish Louisiana, and New Spain with whatever this is over here, Mosquito Kingdom. No, this is Belize. The Mosquito Kingdom is down here. I know my geography, I promise. Meanwhile, the left coast is over here speaking Portuguese, as is the entirety of South America, minus one province over here in like Bolivia for the Inca, and one province up here in Colombia for Holland. And of course, the two provinces for colonial Sweden. With a little under 200 years left, the Roman Empire has over tripled their development, looking incredibly good with their ally of Spain, the number 2 great power, and Great Britain, who I'm sure there will be conflict with eventually in the 3rd spot, Portugal in the 4th because of their colonial empire, and down in the 5th spot, actually kind of sort of in like the number 3 spot because of institutions, is the Mughals, looking very good. Russia, only 1,300 development, very low compared to what I expected. And the PLC over there in the 7th spot with Bamanis, another Indian blob in the 8th, which is very cool to see. And realistically, there's no signs of stopping or slowing down for either of them. The Mughals conquered a bit more land over here and up into Russia. Doesn't look like they're getting along too well. Doesn't look like it's going very well for Russia. China has consolidated and Manchu is exclusively in northern Korea, so that's pretty good. The Philippines are Spanish with a little bit of British up in the top. A very based Lan Fang ended up taking over Borneo, but you know, colonialism and all that. Though it's very cool to see a big beefy Ayutthaya. No Siam, at least not yet, but they're doing pretty good. But the Mughals may have something to say about that. Bengal is a 1 province minor over here, so that's pretty funny, right next to a Deccan, which is very strong. Love it when Bamanis forms Deccan. Very nice tag. And just like in real life, Poland has migrated a little bit over here to the west, getting pushed by the east. This time it looks like they're going to get pushed from the south and the north. So, rip Poland. Also, what is this? Just Spanish Eastern Europe. All right. Colonial game is mostly wrapped up here with Frisia over here, and the rest is just Portugal in the south with mostly Spain over here. Newfoundland and Vinland coexisting, looking very good. And then all the Portuguese stuff over here in the west. Though I really don't know why Plymouth is British and the rest is their colonies. The colony's been done for like 80 years. So I don't know how this is happening, but it is happening. And numbers have gone up quite a bit since the last check-in about 100 years ago. But numbers are very steady for the same people, with the Romans well out in front with their ally of Spain in the number 2 spot. Great Britain actually kind of peaking at Spain because of their colonial stuff. But we'll see how things go with that as time goes on. Portugal still doing very good, super relevant considering their colonial empire. And then the Mughals have risen with Denmark actually in the 6th spot. Very cool. Poland still in the 7th for now. And then Deccan, formerly Bamanis, in the 8th spot with an economic hegemon for the Roman Empire, though they have not stacked up at all yet. I'm sure that they're not going to struggle with that forever. All right, so we're stopping in 1805 because the game just keeps crashing. I don't know why, but it crashes very consistently over and over again. It might have something to do with the fact that we have just too much text on the screen at one time. Like, this is crazy. But then we take a look over here and we have the revolutionary Gurkhani Empire, which I didn't know was in the game, but now I do. Sadly, it looks like they're actually in a war right now. And last I looked, they had like no manpower. So Roman Empire finishing very strong. No surprise, but still very cool to see. I mean, their borders are pretty solid, all things considered. They decided to go much more into Africa and over here into the steppes rather than into Western Europe. But I mean, they did get over here into Toledo, apparently, even though Toledo's like up here. And they snake through France. So there's definitely been some border changes, just not all of the ones that we necessarily want for perfect borders. But this is a very solid AI borders, in my opinion. Deccan absolutely just descended into madness, mostly, I think, from the Gurkhani Empire just shitting and farting on them, as well as the Romans. So that happened, as well as Spain took all the land from Ayutthaya that they got down here, which is sad, but can't really be too surprised about it. We did have a Scandinavia that formed, which is pretty sweet, and Lithuania over here with Poland giving like some chicken pox to Scandinavia. So they weren't doing well last time we looked. So this isn't really too surprising, but it's still kind of funny just to see the crazy amount of little border wars that they added. Africa was mostly colonized by the British, though I think they actually had more last time I looked, but they've released some via rebels. We even have a Roman East Africa, aka Madagascar, with Libertatia over here, a pirate republic. Very cool. And we also have Zulu. So you got to be mindful of the Zulu. And let me just say, I've been like absolutely on a kick lately where I've been listening to like Irish rebel music. Don't ask me why. I don't actually care about, you know, the IRA or anything like that. But come out ye black and tans when they're talking about the British going to war with the Zulu. Oh, ultimate diss track, man. South America is exactly the same as it was before. North America looks a little bit different. Some color changes, mostly just because, you know, Scandinavia, right? But then we also have Canada, which has been released from Great Britain. So clearly there's been a little bit of a power discrepancy there. The rest is all the same. This stuff is occupied because I think it is Brazil is declaring their independence. That's actually what these occupations are over here. It's Brazil occupying them. So not a whole lot of changes in the New World, but obviously this is the one we were really interested in. And so we finish the game, no surprise, with the Roman Empire out in front. Not actually that far, a little over 3,000 dev. So I mean a lot, but not in the big scheme of things, only 8,000 dev for them. But Spain in the number 2 spot with the Gurkhani Empire in the 3rd spot, Scandinavia in the 4th, which I'm pretty sure was Denmark. Very cool to see. Great Britain, and then revolutionary Portugal with like the flag of Zimbabwe or something. And then we have Shun and Deccan in the 8th spot. So a couple of Asian nations in the top. I really appreciate that. Of course, a fully stacked economic hegemon for the revolutionary Roman Empire with a very ugly revolutionary flag. That is pretty cool. I really enjoyed this video. Shout out to a General Poll. You can check him out. He's going to be linked in the description. He's the one who made this mod, and he has his own video on it that he released a couple of weeks ago. So if you thought mine was good, go check his out as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, ding the bell so you get notified when these videos go up live every week. And we're going to be shooting for that 50,000 sub goal so we can get that mega campaign going. I'm really excited for it, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So if you're not already subscribed, click the button. And that is about all I've got for you for this one. I hope that you watching have an absolutely wonderful day.
Special thanks to Kaiser Dar of Acadia, Sheol, Gamus23, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Josh Kopczynski, Agent Rhino, Blonde Damon, Isaiah, Rover, Bubba J, Saranska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Nathan Albright, and many more.